Good evening, folks. Welcome back to another Monday night live stream. Hope everybody's well. Hope you had a lovely weekend, and I hope your Monday is off to a flying start. We got a nice little gang in the chat tonight. Nice little numbers, nice and early. Tonight's chat is, obviously, as you've seen from the thumbnail there, we're going to be showing off the July Painting Challenge entries. We're going to be telling you what the August Painting Challenge is. And I'm also going to be having a little bit of a chat about an announcement from Privateer Press back end of last week, I think it was, or middle of last week. And why part of it anyway could be a bit of a game changer, but we'll get to that later. Let's have a little look and see who we've got in the chat this evening. We had Lord Maiden in nice and early. Good evening, Ian. Hope you're well. Super Pumpkin Man, hello to you as well. He's saying he's going to catch the replay later. Blizzards, it says, Olos from a slightly cooler level of hell today. It's still quite kind of humid here. But it's just started absolutely chucking it down outside, so I nipped out to make a quick bathroom visit before the stream started and got absolutely drenched just running back into the house. So yeah, so summer feels like it's gone now. Blair Smith, hello Blair, how are you doing? We got James Zarman as well. Where are we up to? We got Eden as well. Major Tom, hello to you, buddy. We've got Type 40 Tardis, good evening. Christian Reeves, hello fella, how you doing? Simon Dave, good evening. We got Mark in as well. Salt's in. John Estel, good evening to you. Joachim, hello mate. He says, looking forward to another evening of great hobby achievement. And we'll probably also be tempted by a new game by the looks of it. I'm not going to be tempting anybody to new games tonight. Well, I can't make any promises, obviously. But that's not what the main chat's about. I promise you. VJ, good morning to you. He says, still not feeling too hot. Hope you're feeling better, mate. Tony Oates, good evening to you as well. Zingbo's in as well. Says no hobby for him tonight, but he'll be writing up a list for Warcry if he finds the energy. Nice one, mate. Tasty Brain Drain, good evening. Yellow Belly Tabletop, good evening to you as well. Where are we up to here? Ian says, will we see work from VG? I don't think VG has entered one this month. And will Andy send the non-picture senders into space? Will he tell a bear to let them float towards Earth? I have no idea, mate. Luke Breyer, hello, mate. How are you doing? Dave Mackay, nice to watch you. He says he's watching on the phone today. Hello in the small screen. Jez Hunt, hello to you as well, mate. How are you doing? Wayne Hayward says, evening, everyone, from wet and warm West Midlands. Very similar here as well. Hello, Tony Howell, mate. How are you doing? We've got Mikhail as well from the Polish coast. Ian said he's good as well. How am I? I'm all right, mate, actually. Not too bad. Bit of a quieter weekend with the family this weekend. For once, we didn't seem to have a million things to do, so it was quite nice. We had a bit more of a chilled weekend. And my little one's off school now as well, so yeah, my daytimes are pretty much taken up looking after the little one at the minute. So we had a little game of what started off, he asked to play Dungeons and Dragons this morning, so we played our kind of like, we make up stories and he kind of, you know, we do that kind of thing. But it very quickly merged into, he was essentially playing out the story of Cuphead, the video game, in a Dungeons and Dragons type story. So we played that for a few hours this morning, which is keeping his attention for a few hours is pretty good going. So yeah, I was quite glad with how that went today. We got Klavak in as well. Good evening to Klavak. Yeah, Luke says, I thought you meant for a pee in the garden. No, I just ran back in the house, mate. The garage here, the studio where I am, is not sort of connected straight into the house. You have to go outside to come back into the house. So I got wet going out there. We got Dresden in. He says hello from Russia. Hello, Dresden. We got Colin Wakeland in as well. Good evening to you. Lord Maiden says, just quickly, are your mugs microwavable and dishwashable? I don't know about microwavable, mate. I've never put my mug in the microwave before, but I always put them in the dishwasher, mate. So yeah, I assume they'll be fine. Dan Kennedy, good evening to you, mate. How are you doing? And Double Dip as well says good evening. So I think we've got about 28 submissions, I think, this month for this month's challenge. So that's not too bad, especially considering holidays have started now as well, and kind of people have got a bit less time on their hands. I imagine this August one's going to be a little bit quieter as well, I would think. I'm certainly away for a couple of weeks in August, so my painting will be a little bit tight, I think, this month. But yeah, what I'll do is we'll dive into the first batch of names. I've kind of broken them down into like a group of 10, a group of 10, and a group of 8. So we'll do the first one. Then I think we'll talk about the privateer press stuff. Then we'll do the second one. If anybody else got anything else they want to talk about, we can throw it in there as well. And then we'll show the last few off as well. So I think, how are we doing for numbers? We're not doing too bad. We might as well dive in and show some of them off. So I think what we'll do, if I start, in fact, let me get my phone. I can just double check as well, because I like to check people's emails as well, because they always send me a little bit of information. So what I can do is I can go through them and give you any special information that's on them as well. So if we go to just while we're chatting as well, folks, while I'm showing these off, if you do have anything specific you want to ask me, any special questions, if you type at BlackJack Legacy, it just highlights it on my screen, because I can't see the chat whilst I move everything across for the pictures and stuff. So I'll be going back to the chat after we've done it and stuff. But I might as well dive straight in. So this one is from Mr. Ben Mitchell, and we'll go to here, and this one, there we go. So Ben says this entry this month is the last 5 miniatures of his Frostgrave war band that needed to be painted. I've also included a pic of the full band together. So I believe this is the last 5 that he needed to paint. And he said the reason he chose these miniatures for the theme of the other side is because I just finished playing through the Red King campaign book with a friend, which was an absolute blast. And as you go through the scenarios, the demon Red King comes closer and closer to your destination, cracking reality as he goes with his army of minions pouring out the cracks from other dimensions which you have to fight. Best part about this campaign is when you set up the scenarios, players are told to place bits of string across the board, creating different zones. These zones represent reality cracking, and your warband fights across the board in and out of these realities. The other side. I like that, mate. So essentially you cannot see the other models across the board in the other zones, as they're in a different reality at the time of fighting their own battles. It is pure fantastical madness. Thank you very much for the kind words as well, Ben. I won't read them out. I don't need to kind of pat myself on the back, but thank you for the kind words, Ben. But these, mate, are very, very nice. I have no idea where the models are from. I don't know if they're specific Frostgrave minis, but these, mate, are really nicely painted. Love the bases. The bit of snow on there really sets them off. Nice, sort of just super neat, really nice looking faces on them as well. Let's just do a little bit of zoomy in there as well, and we'll move around. Yeah, just super nicely done, mate. Lovely, nice bright colours, super neat, and I like the kind of the bit of black lining in there as well. Looks good, mate. Looks good. And then here we are. We have the full kind of the full setup of the full warbands that he was talking about as well, with a little bit of terrain. Looks nice, man. I love this this guy. Oh, you lot can't see him on the screen. I wonder if I zoom in big enough, can I move him across so that you can see him? I bet it doesn't matter how big there he is. You can just see him in the bottom corner here. This guy with the blue and white face, a little bit of Braveheart on him. Looks awesome, mate. Really, really nice band there. I keep seeing they look clean. They're so, like, it's just nice, kind of, sort of, all the colours in the right places kind of thing. Do you know what I mean? Really, really neat. Love it, mate. Awesome work. Thank you very much. And next up, we've got Blizzards. Let me get his email as well. So, Blizzards. Let's start with this first one here. If I can find his email. So, Blizzard said, this month's been a bit rough as he got spring and summertime allergies, and the heat's been pretty bad. And he's got no idea what to paint for this month. So the other side vexed me a bit on what to do, but settled on some Battletech minis. Their other sideness is that they are the completely different scale than I usually paint. That works for me, mate. And they remind me a lot of the 80s, so I painted them to look sort of neon and bubblegum and vapor wavy. Started with a base of contrast Talisaur blue with contrasting colour of Vallejo's squid pink. Very nice, mate. I don't know a lot about Battletech minis, so I couldn't sort of start to say what kind of units or anything they are, but yeah, they're super nicely painted, mate. To be honest, I don't really like. I wouldn't be able to say this is a Battletech mini kind of thing, so it's nice to actually see some. But yeah, love the kind of the colour choice, mate. Very nice indeed. Let's zoom in on this one as well. I'm assuming these are all different kind of types of units from the same faction. Love the pink and blue together. Always feels very kind of sort of synth wave and sci-fi, pink and blue together. I think blue and orange gives me a similar vibe as well. Really nice, mate. Nice work here on the little canopy things here as well. They look clear. I think this one's just to kind of prop it up a bit so we can see it as well. Nice work on that one, buddy. I'm assuming that's the gang together as well. The nice little backdrop there as well, just to set it off. Looking good, mate. Looking good. And there's the gang together. Yeah, I like it, mate. Nice work. Thank you very much again for joining in and for completing your entry. Next up, we have Mr. Colin Beale. Let's get his picture up and find his email. There he is. So he said he's painted 5 this month. He painted right. I'll have to talk about them in the order of the pictures. Finally, he said, finally I painted an octopus for a friend's birthday as they live on the other side underwater. Felt it fit. It absolutely does fit, mate. Yeah, and really nice finish to it as well. Love what you've done here with the kind of, I forget what they're called now. The kind of the suction cup things on the bottom of the tentacles. I forget that. I'm sure they've got a name, but I don't remember what it is. And I like this kind of sort of blend as well of the kind of beigey gold in with the kind of orangey brown as well. Really nice, man. And then these two we've got. He said I've painted Blaine and the Fear from the Fear in the Darkness. Oh no, that's not these two. I've painted Gwendolyn and her ally Loxley, as I normally paint sci-fi and fantasy. Is the other side from sci-fi. Nice one, mate. This is thanks to Tony as well for his advice about the glowing magic effect in Gwendel's hand. I'm assuming I saw something in the Patreon chat about how to paint the kind of glowing stuff. Nicely done, mate. Love the colour choice. Love this blue and gold. That green's worked really well as well. And a nice bit of basing on them too, mate. And then these last two here as well. This is the ones that he did see. He painted Blaine and the Fear from the Fear in the Darkness Star Saga expansion. These are the opposite side from each other in the game. I like how creative everybody's been tonight. I like that. That's what it's all about. Lovely bit of work on the base here, mate. Nice colour choices as well. The pink and the green works together really well. Love the kind of the pink with the kind of silvery blue armour as well. Looks awesome, mate. Nice bit of work. Congratulations as well, and well done for completing another month's challenge. Next up, we have a certain Mr. Dan Kennedy. Let's have a look at his email here and see when he sent the email, so I can find. There it is. So Dan says he only got 2 minis done this month. For the floating brain is a Mind Screech, which we'll get to, from Mantic, and the big guy is the second of 4 of these 3D prints that act as void lurkers in Kings of War. This one being for me. So he's been painting some for his friend, so I guess now he's painting some for the other side. There you go, mate. That's how we'll do it. But this is beautiful work, mate. I remember seeing the other ones and I like them, but I think I actually like this one the best of the ones that you've been painting. Beautiful work on the kind of the pinks and blues. They really contrast well together and complement each other as well. And it really fits with that kind of greeny base there as well. Beautiful work, mate. I'm assuming we get some more sort of shots from different angles as well. I believe these are 3D printed dragons as well, so even better, mate. Look, they look awesome. Beautiful work, beautiful posing. My assumption is it comes on the base like this, but it's posed really well. Very nice, mate. Love the kind of spines down the back of the dragon as well. Looks awesome. And here we've got the Mind Screech as well. Very nice, mate. Love the basing work that you've done as well with these kind of sort of greeny black shards coming out. And I just missed that there as well. The eyes are great. Really nicely done. Love it, mate. Beautiful work as ever, Mr. Kennedy. Nice work. Next up, we have a certain Mr. Ian Pennells. Let me get up his first picture. And then we can also find his email here with all of the text. There he goes. So let's have a little look. So again, the photographs are not showing up in the same order, so I'm just trying to refer back to them. So he's painted the bondsman models from the drowned earth. They are the other side of the militia, which I painted some time ago. The militia are considered the defenders of the towns and settlements, and the bondsmen are considered bounty hunters, freelancers, and arseholes who would do any job. And I mean any job. So he says, including the bondsman starter, 5 models with the gorilla fire sword. And the bondsmen are extra characters, and the Akara leader mounted Ceratops and the Baryonyx, so it'll be some dinosaurs as well. And he's also painted some dinosaurs as part of the Elia Chronicles as well, where you play as a ragtag team of 4 who were shipwrecked on an infamous island, and you have to survive by any means possible. These are nice, mate. Love them. Love the basing work they've done as well with the grass clumps and stuff. Really kind of makes you feel like they're kind of in and amongst the jungle and stuff as well. Beautiful colouring on the smoke as well. People tend to kind of get fire the wrong way around. You've got it right, mate, though. I love that, because it's always the coldest part is always the darkest part, away from the kind of source of the heat, if you like. So yeah, it works perfectly, mate. Nice work on the eyes as well. Something I almost pretty much give up on most times. But yeah, lovely colour choices. Definitely complement each other well, mate. These are the bondsman characters that you were talking about as well. Beautiful stuff. Riding a dino there as well. I almost was wondering what it was she was climbing over there. Riding that dino. If I can, I don't know if I can. If I do that, and you can just see that dino model a little bit better there, because it's kind of, I've got it set so it doesn't have the whole screen there, so you can kind of see it there. There you go. Very nice. And then here's some of the dinos as well. So these are the ones for, these are the Elia Chronicle ones, I think. Some nice little bits of objective tokens and things. Very nice, mate. Love these flowers as well. I've not seen these before, mate. These are very nice. And the basin looks good. Very, very good. Yeah, these are awesome, mate. You've painted quite a bit this month, mate, haven't you? I remember when you sent these in as well. You were one of the first to send them in. I'm trying to look at the date on the email as well. You painted these quite sharp. Ah. Nicely done, fella. Nicely done. Some beautiful work there. Love the colour choices. The orange really does contrast well as well with the purples. And love these as well. The greens and the pinks and the blues together look beautiful. I've not seen these little plant things before, though. I'll have to keep an eye out for those things. Nice work, mate. Really well done. Really well done. And congrats as well. Complete another challenge. So next up, we have Mr. Yoakum. Let's have a look and see what his email is. Because we have a suitably gribbly looking thing on the screen there already. Where are we up to here? There he is. We've got him here. So he said he's managed to paint some Cthulhu mythology minis from Mansions of Madness this month in true Nevermind the Mold Line style. I like it, mate. I like it. Hope they count as something from the other side. But they've definitely come from the other side, mate, when it comes to mythos, haven't they? He says, and if not, maybe the little Skaven that my son has painted. Not because there's any connection between Skaven and the other side, but I decided to paint the other side of the base on this one. Just so you know, when my son's little rat is taken out of action. I like it, mate. I like it. So these are Mansions of Madness stuff. Do we say Mansions of Madness? Yes, we did. So, let's have a look at these. Oh. Awesome work, mate. Love the colour choices, the blending on the pink there, on those kind of mouth tentacle type things, looks awesome. Really nice. Lovely colour as well. Nice work on the basin as well, looks good. Awesome stuff, mate. You see the back for the wings. There's quite a bit of intricate work actually on the backs there as well. That's not immediately kind of noticeable at first glance. Nice work, mate. You haven't just slapped the wash on these, mate. This is you got a bit of town on these. I like the work. Really nice, man. I've not played Mansions of Madness. I've played House on the Haunted Hill, I think it is, but I've not played Mansions of Madness. Some weird looking snake worm flying evil thing. Well, I wouldn't want to find one in the bottom of the bed anyway, put it that way. Nice one, mate. Excellent work on the eye as well. Yeah, I just want to kind of zoom in on that. That looks awesome, that work on the eyeball, mate. Nice one. And there's a couple of those. And then here's the Skaven that your son painted as well. And I'm sure there's a picture of the base as well underneath. Love the colour on that, mate. That yellow is really, really nicely done. Some nice work there. Love that. Nice bit of basing as well. And then there's the painting on the other side as well. I like it, buddy. Nice work, mate. Nice work. Thank you very much. Next up, we have a certain Mr. Marcus Schneider. Let's find Marcus's email, so we can make sure that we don't misname anything. So he says, out from the depths, one of last year's most popular models. One of last year's most popular Warhammer Underworld's Diachasm models. Is it Elathians, Soul Raids, Dune Claw, oh, and a Spine Fin as well. I'm glad you knew the names, mate. Oh, these are the crabs, aren't they? Of course. While I painted the Dune Claw, I like a normal crab, I decided to do something special for the Spine Fin. After finding a painting video from Victor Quest, I tried my hand at painting the Spine Fin to look like a lionfish, my personal favourite aquarium fish. There we go then, mate. These look really nice. Let me just tip that screen up a little bit so I can see it better. Looks awesome, mate. Really nice work. And they look awesome as well, mate. I'm assuming these are the spine fish. I've not seen these models for Underworlds, I'll be completely honest, mate. I've not seen them at all. But they look cool, mate. Really nicely done. Beautiful colours. Like, they look sort of very authentic, if you like, when it comes to kind of crabs and fish. Really, really nicely done, man. Love them. Yeah, I'm not familiar at all, mate, with these two models. I seem to remember the whole kind of chat about the crab and stuff, but I don't remember actually ever seeing it. Nice work, man. I love those. Beautiful work on the fish, I think, especially these kind of these kind of the fin things here. Really nice, mate. Well done. Awesome work, and again, thank you for taking part in the challenge. Next up, we have. I think we have. Is it Samir? Pretty sure it is. Let's have a little look here. We'll find his email. Bear with me, folks. There we go, Samir Patel. Now we are. It says attached is the entry for this month's challenge. The other side for me was a rival war and the Underworlds. I had to go at Iron Skull's boys to battle it out with Steelheart's champions. This was more of a learning exercise with contrast paints for me. A little bit of cleanup left on the bases, and I didn't quite finish the detailed patterning on the shoulder pauldrons, but it's July the 31st. At least I remember the time. I wanted to make sure I got these to you in time. And I said he's had a load of fun to work on them as well, and nice to push his hobby skills to the next letter. You are welcome, mate, as well. He's saying thank you for the challenge. Awesome, mate. I do like these models. These are very nice. Lovely colour choice as well with the yellow. Looks awesome. Nice work on the cape there as well. Love that. Axe is looking suitably shiny and sharp. Nice bit of shading actually as well with the contrasts, mate. Sometimes on them flat surfaces you don't really get it, but I think you've done a cracking job of those. Basin looks nice as well. Awesome, mate. Loving these. Loving these. Nice little bits of kind of silver armor plating and stuff, patching things up. Nice work. I'd say contrast paints have definitely seemed to have kind of... I feel like people are really getting the hang of contrast paints now. They're not just that kind of really bright sort of slapped on feel I think they used to have a long time ago. They look really, really nice. I like these, mate. And they'll look awesome in the finished lineup there as well. Nice work. Hopefully they won for you, mate. That would be a nice little bit of a bonus as well. So thank you, Samir. Beautiful work. Next up, we have Stephen Hallowich. And Stephen has done these models. Let me find his email. There we go. He said, here are my submissions. 2 Monpok factions. First is the Zakalo block. Extra-dimensional Soviets who won the Cold War and set out to conquer all dimensions. The tech is different, walkers and lighter than air aircrafts. And the 3 monsters are Zovid 075, the tracked guy. I'm assuming let's go to these ones. Is it these ones? I'll tell you what, let's just go through them. The second one says a giant models from an underground empire. So let's have a little look through them because there's a number. I'm assuming that's the one there. Let me make that a little bit bigger for you. Let me skip back a little bit because there's a few pictures here. Oh, there we go. So these are all Monpok models, and I'm assuming that's the lineup of them all there. Awesome work, mate. He's been flying through some stuff this month. I'm pretty sure it's Stephen who said he's painted 100 models this month. I think I could be wrong, but I think it's one and the same. These are nice, mate. I've not really... Again, this is another game a bit like Battletech. I've not really seen a lot of the models for Monpok. I think in my head it was always like a game that was a bit more like sort of Godzilla kind of monsters, like in a city type thing, a bit like King of Tokyo. I don't know why I wasn't expecting this kind of stuff. But these are nice, man. Really nicely done. Beautiful colour choices as well. Really works well. And these are the other ones as well. Nice one. Do these remind me of the thralls from Warmachine? They look cool, man. Nice work, fella. Thank you very much. Really like what you've done there. And last up for this section, I should say, we've got Vince. Now, Vince has actually put on his email how to pronounce his surname, so I'm not going to butcher it. I'm going to make sure I do him justice and say his name how it's meant to be pronounced. Vince Cerniglia. Cerniglia, there we go. So Vincent Cerniglia, here is your stuff. So he's just got a copy of Silver Bayonet. So the July challenge was timely. I've got these 3 ghouls and zombies for a long time. They'd be great for the game. And the large dire wolf is from WizKids. The other 2 are from Reaper Minis. Awesome, mate. Let me just zoom in a little bit. So these are the dire wolves. Looking really nice, mate. Love the work on the ears there as well. The teeth, really, really neat work. Love the spines through the top. Nice bit of work on the fur as well. All look awesome. And then we've got the ghouls here as well. Nice work, man. Love the bit of basin. The little bits of tufts really do set them off. The skin kind of variation of the tones as well looks good. Weapons are looking awesome. The eyes here really do glow. Oh, look really cool. And what are these for? Just for Silver Bayonet as well, mate. These are looking awesome. So thank you very much, Vince. Nice one. So let me shut them down and go back to the chat so I can see what people are saying. Yeah, I'm going to scroll through these relatively quick because I don't want to reply with everything everybody's saying. Where we got here. Yeah, people saying about some nice colours and stuff. Luke saying, looking forward to seeing the submissions. Whatever the new challenge is, I'm off on Hollybobs this next weekend, so might not have as much time. Yeah, like I say, I'm away for 2 weeks this month, and then it's time to get back after the school holidays and stuff and like knuckle down work-wise. So yeah, I don't think I'll be painting much this month, but it'll be nice to see what everybody else does. VG saying, yeah, cool snow bases. Type 40 Torres saying, hey, Baltech. Mitchell Bridges, good evening to you, mate. How are you doing? He said, greeting owners of fine luxury toy soldiers. Warren Jones, good evening to you, sir. Let's have a little look. Tony Hamilton, oh, I like this. Very nice. Kyle Rohn, good evening, sir. Hope you're doing well. Hope you're all prepped for your trip to Gen Con. I'm sure that you've certainly got your hands full coming up, sir. But I'm looking forward to seeing all of the pictures, all of the stuff coming back from the weird booth. Just to saying, these have all been great so far. They certainly have, mate. Sam saying, listening from work as well. Aloha from Maui. Aloha to you as well, Sam. Hope you're doing well, buddy. Yeah, Tony saying brilliant stuff. Colin stuff. Simon Dave saying, wow, it's cool. Yep, some nice work there as well from Dan Kennedy. Says Luke. What else are we up to? Yeah, and Tony saying Dan knocked it out of the park. He certainly did. Christian sharing links there as well to the Patreon. If anyone does want to join the Patreon and help support me, folks, today is the perfect day to do it because today is the 1st of the month. So if you join on the 1st of the month, you then don't get charged again until the 1st of next month, as opposed to joining in the middle of the month where you'll then get charged again at the 1st. So today is the perfect day to join the Patreon should you wish to support me. Thank you very much for sharing the link there, Christian. Blair Smith says, they all great, really need to work on my basin. Everybody needs to work on something, mate. Nobody's perfect. That's the joy of this. You don't need to be perfect. As long as you enjoy doing it, that's what it's all about. Luke says, not enough dinosaurs in miniature wargaming. It's funny, mate, isn't it? Dinosaurs, I'm surprised there's not more dinosaurs, to be honest. We've got Genta Games in. Good evening. Says, I like the flowers. Where are they from? Genta Games, I got your email as well, mate, but I haven't had time to reply to you yet. So tomorrow I will be sending you an email. I did read it, and I've watched your videos and stuff. I'll be getting back to you tomorrow, buddy. Simon Davis is really cool. Looks like I'm buying Drowned Earth now. Yeah, dinosaurs is something I always thought we would see more of as well. Just want to say thank you as well to Clyde Dashing for the super chat there as well. Thank you very much. He's sorry I'm late for the stream. Get yourself a tea or coffee. Thank you very much. I'm actually trying to cut back on the coffee. I drink far too much coffee. I probably have about 4 or 5 cups a day. And so I've decided to knock coffee on the head for a while. So I've not had a coffee since, is it last Thursday, I think it was. Last Thursday, I think was the last time I had a cup of coffee. So I will have a green tea. Thank you very much. I will spend that money on a green tea. Thank you very much. So bits of chat there as well, going backwards and forwards. Lord Maiden saying those flowers are from Gamers Grass and the dinosaurs' bases are coconut fibre. I've never thought about using coconut fibre before, mate. Awesome. Yeah, Tony saying Cthulhu goodness, can't go wrong. Trolley Mouse, good evening. He says Mega Mech is the most faithful Battletech game. I'm still a bit salty they haven't added beast-mounted infantry. I'm not familiar with it, mate, if I'm perfectly honest. Simon Dave saying well painted there as well. Zingbo saying just the one crab model, but it's from Underworlds. Yeah, I seem to remember the chat about it and everyone voting it. Was it voted model of the year or something? That's how I look. Type 42 saying nobody can be in a crabby mood, seeing all these amazing paint jobs. I'm liking the dad jokes as well. Keep the dad jokes up, they're always welcome. And yeah, Type 42 saying yeah, 100 models this month. That is some going, buddy. Q, I am the machine meme. 100%. Luke says, have you got an entry for this month's challenge? I haven't, mate. I've not managed to finish one. I did start one and I got halfway through it and I've not had a chance to go back and do it, mate. I've had my plate full with looking after a 5-year-old. But yeah, I'll try and get something done for August. As I said, I'm away for 2 weeks through August. And actually, I've got a load of work planned for this month. And for when I get back as well. Loads of stuff in the pipeline kind of lined up. That's kind of brewing away, which is also taking up time in the background. So we'll see. James Bray, good evening to you, mate. How are you doing? Mini Warmut said he's just finished some cheesy trash terrain, but it'll do its job on the tabletop. That's all we ask for, mate. That's all we ask for. VJ says, did you get a chance to drop in on the Blitzball stream with Colin and I, looking like the league is shaping up? I didn't even realise that you've been playing, mate. I've not really been in the Discord much the last few days. If anybody's tagged me in anything, I've kind of come in and replied to it and stuff, but I've been, like I say, I've been looking after the little one, so I don't know when you did you play at the weekend, mate? I'm not sure when the game was. VJ says, do you know if Discord has a record function? I'm pretty sure it hasn't, mate. I think you need to record it either like through screen capture or through something like OBS or something. Christian sharing the link as well for the t-shirt. Thank you very much, mate. If you do want a t-shirt, very much like what I'm wearing tonight, one of these. Always do well for the painting challenges. Painted minis hit harder. Them's the ones you want. But you can get them on the Teespring store. So, and I think actually there might even be a link underneath this video if you have a check as well. Carrie, hello to you as well, saying great looking minis. And Blair saying, are Dino Riders in the Wardren in Conquest? I'm not so familiar with those ones, mate, as well. And Adam Welch says, feeling better yet? Coffee kicks take time to calm down. To be honest, mate, I've never really, I don't really get the kind of the withdrawals from coming down from coffee. I'm all right like that. Right. They seem to kind of do all right. Chikaro there just pledged $5 on or £5 via Patreon. Thank you very much, buddy. Nice to have a new Patreon join the gang this evening. Thank you, sir. I'm saying sir. I'm assuming sir. I think I know who it is. That's why I said sir. But thank you very much, and hello to Fomorian as well. How are you doing, buddy? Right, I'll tell you what I'm going to do now. You can hold up with your Patreon joining and your super chats for a bit, because I'm going to switch over to this screen, because what I'm going to do is I'm trying to get back to putting some of these clips back out as separate videos for the folks that don't watch the live streams when I'm doing like a proper when I'm doing something like more of a topic type thing as well. So I'll kind of if I clip back to here, I can record this bit and then we can get back to the stream stuff. So what I'm going to talk about tonight, if you could see from the thumbnail, it was about kind of sort of game changing, and what I'm referring to is Privateer Press put out an announcement last week that there is a new edition of Warmachine coming, which is Mark 4 basically. But I'm not that interested. Tonight's chat is not about the Mark 4 rules. That's not the part of the announcement that I was really interested in. The thing that really piqued my interest, and what I think could potentially be the game changing part, is the fact of how they are going to produce and distribute their miniatures in the future. Now, for those that don't know, Warmachine is made by a company called Privateer Press, and they generally make the vast majority of their models have been made out of metal. And in the past, they've kind of done some plastics for kind of starter box type things that were made in higher production runs. And they've also dabbled in some kind of resins as well. But predominantly, everything was done in metal. And I used to play a lot of Mark II Warmachine. I used to go to a lot of different tournaments. I've been to like sort of British championships. I've been to European team championships and stuff like that. And one thing I remember is the weight of my bag when I was kind of carrying all of my models to these events. You carrying a big army of metal models, those bags get damn heavy, and especially when you're traveling with them. So it was interesting what they were saying as part of this announcement. Now, what they said was the cost of metal is essentially getting to a point now where it's quite expensive, actually, and it's probably not that sustainable for the future for Privateer Press to continue to produce their minis in metal. And I probably wouldn't disagree with that. It also said that they didn't want to produce in, they didn't call it Cyocast, but they were definitely kind of like sort of alluding to Cyocast, and I think they had sort of concerns about the fact that Cyocast, my understanding is, and I could be proved wrong here, but my understanding is you buy the machine from Cyocast and you buy the material to make your miniatures from Cyocast as well. And I think they were concerned about almost kind of tying themselves in with kind of proprietary equipment and proprietary materials. They weren't so keen on that one. Plastics are obviously the cheaper option, but you need to be doing big volumes of models for plastics. And I would assume at this stage of Warmachine's life, when it hasn't been there, it's on a bit of a downward trend. This kind of Mark IV edition is trying to kind of rejuvenate that a little bit. I would assume they're not making the kind of volumes that they need to make plastics work. So what they've decided to go down is they've decided to 3D print all of the miniatures that you will be able to buy. Now, before, when you say 3D print, everyone thinks, oh, they're going to start selling STLs. It's going to be a bit like one-page rules. That's not what they're doing. They are actually going to mass manufacture all of their models and then package them up and send them out to stores for you to buy. But they're going to mass manufacture them themselves by 3D printing all of the models. Now, this was the bit that kind of stood out to me a little bit, and the more I read about it, the more it interested me. One thing they're doing is that they're going to be 3D printing the models with sort of recesses already in to put magnets in. So one of the new things from Warmachine Mark IV is their Warjacks and their Beasts will have weapon options and head options, because the head is basically the cortex of the Warmachine. Is about kind of being able to choose different weapon options, different cortex options, and you will be able to choose between different games. So, for example, you put one model together for that game, you use it in that game. In the next game, you might want to change the right arm for a different weapon, and because it's all magnetized, the models will come with the magnets. They come with where the arms and the shoulders are already drilled out, kind of thing, or recessed, ready for those magnets. I thought that was quite interesting, but other companies kind of do similar things. Now, that wasn't the part that I was kind of really thinking about. It was the fact that they're actually going to mass manufacture it by 3D printing. And they also said that traditionally, the way that you make a model in a two-part mold, be that through plastic injection molding or be that through kind of like resin or metal kind of cast spinning, you always get a mold line around the model, and you always have to kind of be able to cut it up into a certain orientation so that you can sort of injection mold it, or you can kind of spin cast it. What 3D printing allows them to do is to create models that you couldn't really create in a normal kind of sort of molding process, because overhangs start becoming a thing of the past, because all you do is you just support it from underneath with supports. You can make things in one piece instead of making it in 5 or 6 pieces, so there's less parts to come together. And so it actually opens up a lot of kind of options for them to create some very, very dynamic, intricate models that we potentially don't already see on the market now. So I thought that was quite interesting. And then the other side of it is the fact that they also sort of allude to the fact that they've had some issues with supply and stuff. And we all know what the world is like at the moment. Sort of shipping costs are all over the place. If you manufacture in China, the amount of time it takes to get stuff sent back from China. We've got things like Brexit and all of the other things that are going on as well with their import costs and all of that kind of stuff. If you were setting up a miniatures company from scratch now and you're getting your stuff manufactured out in China, there's a lot of that kind of needs to be costed in, and costs varying so much with energy costs and everything else. It's quite hard to kind of almost keep control of those things. Once you start 3D printing all of your product, and you can choose where to 3D print it. So for example, if I'm an American company and I'm selling a lot of models on like kind of mainland Europe, I can kind of set up a little manufacturing office in Europe, put a couple of people in there working and some printers in there and start printing all of my product in Europe. You don't pay import costs because they're already manufactured in that country. Your shipping costs all become a lot lower because you're not having to ship back from China to your own warehouse where you then repackage them and then ship them back into Europe, for example. It opens up a lot of options that until now, I don't really think anybody has really taken that leap into 3D printing on that scale. Now, I'm not a 3D printing expert, and I don't know whether there's kind of, is there kind of industrial 3D printers, or is it just a case of buying almost an off-the-shelf printer now that we can all purchase, but just with a bigger build plate, for example? I don't really know just how many of these printers they're going to need, how many people it's going to take to run them, and kind of like what that's going to mean, because I don't know the numbers of models that they sell. They could be selling 5,000 models a month. They could be selling 50,000 models a month. I've got no idea. But the interesting thing is they almost kind of then start to print on demand of the amount of stock that they need to replenish each of the different regions, as opposed to let's have a production run of like 100 of 10,000 of this sprue and then 10,000 of this sprue, because that's the way sort of plastic injection molding works. The way, I guess, the way spin casting works on a slightly smaller scale, but you're still making maybe kind of 10 or 12 of the same kind of cast on a resin cast, for example. So if you were a new company starting up today, this would seem like the most efficient way to start. I'm not saying it's the best way to go for the future. I think if you start doing big enough numbers, plastic models are by far the way to go. But if you're toying with resin anyway, this is a really interesting way, and it wouldn't surprise me if this works for Privateer Press. It wouldn't surprise me if we see more smaller companies looking into this route. There's a lot of kind of smaller boutique type companies now who are pretty much all metal casting or resin casting at the minute, and it's historically it's what they've always done. They've bought the equipment, that's what their staff know how to do, and as we start to see the price of metal going up, the price of shipping going up around the world, instead of producing everything in one location, being able to even subcontract out some 3D printing to different locations seems like a really interesting thing. So game of Mark IV Warmachine aside, you can kind of, the rules of the beta rules there are up online. You can have a look at them and see what you think. That side of it is a little bit separate from what I'm thinking here, but I think the announcement to go down this 3D printing route is really, really interesting, and this could be the dawn of a few other people flicking on that light bulb and thinking, actually, this might, especially for the smaller companies, this might be the way to do it for us as well. So I'd love to know what you think. Maybe you know more about 3D printing and know whether there's industrial scale 3D printers. Is this something that we think Privateer Press are going to invest in, or are they essentially going to have a big room full of kind of like sort of 50 Elegoo Mars type things like we would normally buy from Amazon or whatever? Is that the way it's going to work? It'll be interesting, and I'm going to be watching this really, really closely. If you look online, there's some pictures of the some of the first resin prints that they've been doing, and they look fantastic. So it'll be interesting to see what happens. But yeah, watch this one closely. So what do you think, folks? What do you think? Could this be a game changer, or could this be could this just be more of the same? Do you think? Let's have a little look here. Simon Dave saying clips are a great idea, very shareable. Yeah, I mean, it was always my plan to do them, but most of the streams recently, mate, have been like interviews and stuff like that, and they've not really been clippable type stuff, where this one I thought probably would be. Fomorian says he's fine. Want to catch up with the stream. Still have to paint his Halfling Warband for one-page rules, but it's too hot in Berlin. Charlie Mouse says Mark III was the era of resin, actually. Very little that came out in time was metal, because tin got expensive. Yeah, it just goes back to what I was saying, mate. I think for a long time they were metal stuff, and there's still a lot of metal minis kicking about, I think. But yeah, but there was some plastics. It's like some stuff went plastic. I remember some of my Troll Bloods, I had a mixture of plastic and I had a mixture of metal kind of mixed in together. But yes, some of the resin stuff, I remember getting some resin stuff, and it wasn't the easiest to work with. Andrew Fairbanks is saying new Warmachine looks awesome except the price. It's amazing how Privateer literally did everything that GW has done since the start of Mark III. I think the price, mate, I think the price sounds quite high when they're talking about kind of like $200 or whatever. But when you see what you get in the box as well, that you're getting a lot of stuff for the price, and essentially what you're getting is you're getting an army in a box. Because I know people were saying that they like the starter sets, the battle boxes that you can get now, which are about like £35-40, something like that. But the problem is you get about 4 models in them. It's enough to get some Warmachine models, but it's not enough to play the game. And I guess what they're trying to do is they're trying to, and it's because they're doing something different. It needs to justify it almost, you know what I mean? It needs to justify the cost and the investment and everything else. So it'll be interesting to see how the market takes it. I mean, there are obviously cheaper games on the market, but I wonder if there's many cheaper games where you have everything you need to play. I think that's maybe the different bit. George, good evening to you as well. How you doing? Simon Dave saying could be a cool idea if the price is lower. I think the thing is it's not necessarily about the price being lower at this stage. It could be around the price being able to stay lower in the long run as costs keep going up. Because the price of metal is obviously going up. Energy prices are going up. So things like injection molding and stuff, which obviously take a lot of like heat and stuff as well, is going to go up. The fact that we're shipping things around the world will push prices up. So it might be that they're trying to set themselves up with a price that is reasonable now, but will stay reasonable for the long run. Because I mean, companies do have to make some money. I don't think it's a case of price gouging. I think it's more a case of they producing stuff on a much lower volume than what we would expect that they normally do. I mean, at one point, Warmachine in Mark II was the biggest competitor to Games Workshop. They were really, really close, like at one point. And then all manner of different things happened, and Games Workshop kind of took off and Warmachine took a bit of a back seat. But for a while, Privateer Press were the real main challenger to GW. Charlie Mouse saying Mark IV got me concerned when they explained the motive for the rules changes, since they were explicitly trying to de-emphasize positioning, which was what their game did best and the reason I played. I think what they're trying to get away from, mate, is the reliance upon very exact millimeter positioning. And I think that becomes, it was one of the things I think Guild Ball suffered from as well, was the fact that you end up with just people putting like little measuring sticks all over the board and trying to, I need to make sure I'm out of range of this and in range of that, and it can cease to maybe be as approachable or as fun at times. He says prices aren't low. That's one of the few things we know for sure. Yeah, we know some of the prices. VJ says local printing to cut out shipping costs is a great idea, especially if it cuts out a chunk of Aussie tax. I think it should cut out a lot of tax for all over the world if they get to the point where, I mean, initially, let's be honest, it's not going to be a case of from day one we have like 4 local hubs around the world to cut down costs and stuff. But I think if they see costs rising in certain areas, or if they're struggling to get supply out there to people, I think it's a very quick way to either subcontract or set yourself up with a local sort of mini factory, if you like. James says, I like the idea of magnetizing as standard for a game. Yeah, it's one of those things, mate, isn't it, where people have magnetized their models themselves for quite some time to save a few quid on not having to buy multiple different options. But for this to physically be part of the game and part of its design is quite interesting. And yeah, Andrew's saying about the prices there that we were just talking about as well. About $200 for the 50-point starters, $175 to get you to 75 points, and some duplicates. Yeah, so it's a case of what they've said is basically you will have enough to field an army with some spares really to kind of customize that army a little bit. Charlie Mouse is saying, I think 3D prints only really work for masters since UV resin goes brittle over time no matter how careful you are. I think it depends on what kind of resin they're using, to be honest. I mean, there's a few different kinds of resin and they all have different properties. So maybe if they're starting to do it on a more industrial scale, they might be using something slightly different. I guess we just don't know at this point in time. VG says, interesting, Weird just announced expansions for Vagrant Song and Bayou Bash at Gen Con. I think they're releasing them at Gen Con, mate, but they announced them a while ago. I think they've been quite commonly known about, mate, I think. Andrew says, Warmachine was a big Euro game though. I remember the Euro Team Championships. They pretty much invited us Americans. Yeah, I mean, it was. I mean, Warmachine is an American game. It's made by a company that's based out in Seattle, I think. Privateer Press are over there, but it was a game that picked up a lot of the old Warhammer Fantasy crowd. And to be fair, it's a lot of the DNA of what really was developed into something like into Guild Ball as well. I mean, the people that invented Guild Ball and designed Guild Ball came from playing a lot of Warmachine, and you can see some of its influence in Marvel Crisis Protocol as well, because the staff that went over to Atomic Mass Games came from Privateer Press. I'm sure I read somewhere or I heard somewhere originally Fantasy Flight asked Privateer Press to basically develop the Marvel Crisis Protocol game for them, and then at some point they said basically, well, we might as well just kind of, if you lot want to come and work for us, we'll do our own thing, kind of thing. We'll develop it in house, and that's how a few of the Privateer Press staff ended up over at Atomic Mass Games, I believe. I could be wrong on that, but that's what I was told. So so Warmachine actually has a lot of kind of. It was the first of those really games designed to be a game first and then to sell miniatures off the back of really good rules, as opposed to the Games Workshop way of let's make some beautiful minis and then, by the way, there's a game you can play them with. So I think Warmachine has a lot of history in tabletop gaming. It has a lot of there's a lot of games owe a lot to Warmachine. I mean, it's obviously changed a lot over the years. Let's have a look here. Charlie Mouse saying 3D printing is also one of the slowest production processes. I guess it depends how many printers you've got, mate, at the end of the day, because it's alright if you've got one printer and it takes 3 hours to make a model, then you'll get one model every 3 hours. But if you've got 10 printers and it takes 3 hours, you're getting 10 models every 3 hours. Well, you'll get more than that because you're obviously getting more on a build plate as well. So it's all about size and scale and that kind of stuff. Christian Chin, are they going to be following the Hero Forge model and using high detail plastic printers? I'm not sure it'll work with resin. I'm not sure what they're using, mate. They didn't really say what kind of stuff. I mean, one thing I would say from a Hero Forge point of view is you're generally designing your own stuff, where obviously Warmachine are obviously they're selling it like any other, like in the way you would buy a GW box of 10 models, you'll buy a Warmachine box of 10 models, for example. And David's saying they could be using SLS type printers, not really a consumer printer, no supports or need to clip. They did mention about there'll be no mold lines, just the little bits where supports have been. So I suggest, mate, they're not using SLS printers. And Tony says they wouldn't even need to pay for a unit in each country, as there's an opportunity to subcontract the printing. Yeah, and I guess there's an element of there's an element of security of like, how do you make sure that the files don't get out into the wild and all that kind of stuff. But I'm sure there's ways and means around that when it comes to signing contracts and that kind of thing. Type 40 TARDIS says Mantic does something similar with their in-house resin casting. The whole Armada range is done in-house. It is made, but the problem is that that's the way anybody does resin casting stuff at the minute. They basically have their resin casters in-house and they cast their own models. This is a bit different. This is 3D printing stuff and having the ability to very quickly move production, because you like all you're investing in basically is a 3D printer. You're not having to basically like sort of retrain people or make more molds, because the molds don't need to be replaced. Basically the molds for resin casting are made from printing 3D models originally anyway. So yeah, it's quite interesting really. I mean, there's a lot to be said about it. Andrew saying, I mentioned on the price I can buy 3 AAA video games or half a Warmachine army. I guess that's the same for any game now though, mate, generally. Like if you want to play 40k, you're paying $400, $500 for an army, I suppose. If you're wanting to play Kings of War, you're probably getting like at least an army box, starter box, which is like £100 or something like that, and then you're having to buy extra stuff on that to get up to like the 2,500 point mark, which is like the normal tournament level. I think the difference is it's like you just buy everything in a box and it's like you have it all. So yes, it might be a lot of money to get started, but if you're going to, I think the basic problem comes, and this is something I've noticed today as well, is like basically Mantic are releasing a cheap version of Armada with 2 ships in it, and everyone is getting excited about how great it is. It's great to see these cheap starter boxes and stuff. The problem is people generally don't play games. I think we need to kind of realise the vast majority of people who buy models don't really play the games. It's why starter boxes do so well, because starter boxes do so well because there's a lot of models in there for a relatively cheap price, and everybody buys a starter box and then they might paint a few models, but it never gets any further than that. There's a huge number of people who just buy Warhammer models and never ever play the game, and this is the problem. This is where the Warmachine thing might fall down. The fact that buy-in at $200 or £175 or whatever it's going to be, that's where this might fall down, because I think that might be just a barrier too far. You are getting a lot of models for your money, but it may be too much just as that kind of first step into the game. But I think if we take away their sales model, if we take away the game model, the game rules and everything else, and just look at it from, if you were setting up a new company from scratch, could this possibly be a way to let me just get rid of this spam stuff here. Could it be a way to do that? Sorry, I'm just doing some deleting here as well. Discourse, hello there, how you doing? Saying, can 3D printing be efficient at scale though? That's the bit I don't understand. I don't know whether there's kind of industrial 3D printing, whether it's just a case of them buying like 40 3D printers from Amazon and having a few people just constantly kind of cleaning off the build plates and starting the next one. I guess from a machine perspective, like if you think about it, it's going to cost thousands to buy like a resin casting machine. I think you'd actually be able to like invest in 3D printers, and then basically they're constantly, like if you're making, let's say you can fit 4 models on a build plate, for example, and you've got 10 printers going, that's like 40 models that you're producing every sort of, I don't know, every couple of hours or whatever it is. Now that might be enough for the amount that they sell. The fact that they can reduce their costs elsewhere might mean that they're making more profit per model from that respect. Maybe the fact that they're not having to keep redoing their molds. Once the sculpt's done kind of thing, it never ever wears out. They don't have to replace that kind of rubber resin mold every time. So I guess there's swings and roundabouts to it, but I honestly don't know what it's like doing it on that kind of a scale. And Colin's saying, yeah, I suppose it depends on the scale of the machines versus the cost. And Ed's saying there, from memory, the Legion battle boxes are a complete army for 150 quid. Yeah, that's kind of what I'd be expecting from this as well, mate. And then don't forget, we'll all see the 20% discount on top of that as well, no doubt as well. So, and simultaneously, Andy speaking the truth here. So many starter boxes, so few games. Honestly, it's like this is always the thing that I think we need. Like when everybody says like, oh, but nobody plays this game. Hardly anybody plays any game. I think this is the thing. I honestly feel like the whole kind of tabletop industry is built upon people buying miniatures and nothing else. There are some people obviously playing games, and the more popular the kind of the IP, like 40k, the more people they are playing those games. But if you think about something like Adeptus Titanicus, how many people are really playing that? If you think about something like Aeronautica Imperialis, even though they're GW games, like who's playing this stuff? People are buying it and just kind of painting miniatures. Like GW must sell enough of those models to warrant the fact that they make them all in plastics. But like, you know, I never see anybody playing. I never see any battle reports online. I never see anybody painting any, posting any pictures of that kind of stuff. James says, Andy's bassy northern tones are making something on my desk vibrate, and I can't for the life of me work out what it is. Discord says, compare painting YouTuber numbers easily hitting 100 to 300,000 views against gameplay focused YouTubers for Warhammer looking at 30,000 views. Yeah, absolutely. I think it's just I think people think a lot more people play games than they actually do. I think that's exactly true. VG says there's a huge number of people that buy 40k minis and never even build or paint them. Yeah, that as well. And I think that's the case with a lot of other companies as well. Is that basically like I almost feel sorry for the games that have really, really good rules, because the ones that are really setting themselves up and they're ploughing all the energy into rules and they're ploughing all the energy into like fantastic background lore, it's almost a case of like, well, what's your miniatures like? Because if your miniatures are nice, people will buy them and paint them. Nobody's going to play your games because nobody plays games. But like, if your miniatures are nice, you'll sell some. So like, your miniatures have to be good. You know, if you've got a good background world to it and you've got a good game as well, your game has a chance of maybe like growing and kind of getting a little bit more of a community and stuff. But these days, honestly, I honestly feel like the actual gaming side of it is so small. Let me skip ahead a little bit here. Clyde Dashing saying, yeah, spend more time painting than playing. I think everyone pretty much does, mate, yeah. Trolley Mouse says, when people say nobody plays this game, it's because they want to play the game. People are happy with display pieces. Don't say it. Yeah, I get that, mate, as well. I think there's a lot of people who see something and they go, but I don't want to buy into it because nobody plays that. And I think generally that's the case for most games, except the fact that 40k is so big. Like even EOS, like for all it's like second or third or whatever it is in size of games, you still don't see it played a lot. Star Wars Legion's a pretty big game. You don't see it played a lot. Like Marvel Crisis Protocol is quite popular in my local area, but there's still only like a bunch of maybe 10, 15, 20 people playing on a regular basis. And that's across quite a wide area. Like, we are not talking hundreds of thousands of people playing them. Ed says, I was recently told that post-pandemic GW's internal numbers have it up to 90% of minis that are sold purely to paint. Do you know what it is, mate? Even 90%, I would not be surprised at all, mate. I even like 10% to play might even just be 10% of people who say they play but don't play. Andrew says, we'll say Wargamer Girl had roughly twice the viewers as normal for her stream with the Mark IV news announcement. I think it's because there's nothing being said about it for such a long time that people want to hear what's happening with Warmachine. So many people thought it was kind of dead and buried, to be fair. But this seems to be like a last roll of the dice, really. I'd love to see it do well. I'd love to see it come back. I really enjoyed my time playing Mark II. But it'll be interesting to see what happens, because now there's a lot riding upon this manufacturing process as well. About one thing, they might have a great set of rules, Whether they have or not, I don't know. I've not read them in depth yet. But they might have a great set of rules. But if they still can't supply miniatures, especially when they're building this new Mark IV Prime version on the new models that they're releasing to try and make it an easier entry point for people getting into it for the first time, they like that. It all hinges again on manufacturing. Gulmero says, I ditched 28 30mm scales for good in favour of smaller scales, cheaper, less space, great rule sets and a huge variety of miniatures. I think the problem with that, mate, is the fact that most people don't play games, as I've just established, and so people want bigger models because they're nicer to paint. They're just generally a bit easier to paint. The bigger the model is, like, the less kind of like finicky little details there is. So if you're a gamer, I get the point of playing smaller scale miniature games, but most people are not. That's the thing. Most people are not. Bobman Gaming, hello mate, says super interesting ideas on the amount of actual gaming going on. Honestly, I think it'll surprise you. It'll surprise you how little it is. Discourse saying board games, D&D, show that there's desire for tabletop games. There is discourse, but I think the problem is people want games that they can just play, and that's where board games work really well. It's where video games work really well. You just plug it in and you play it. Your board game, you set it up and you play it. With miniatures games, you generally have to build the models. There seems to be like an unwritten rule that you must paint your miniatures to play the games as well. And I think, and then there's the collecting aspect and the cost aspect that comes with that as well. And I think that is not necessarily a barrier to some people. I think some people go into it with the intention of that's what they're going to do, but I think generally they basically don't. They never get to that point. They buy a starter box for this and they buy a starter box for that and bits and pieces. I'm sure there are a lot of people who do play games and actually get into a game in order to play it. But as we said before, I think the vast majority of people who buy miniatures are not playing games. Lewis Duke says, part of it is time, part of it is space. As an apartment dweller, no way in heck I can set up even a skirmish-sized game. Easier to just build the army you'll never play. Yeah, I wouldn't disagree. I think a lot of people just buy them to collect them, like as in ornamental pieces, or as in a collection. Adam's saying life gets in the way of games, I'm afraid. Yeah, I totally get that. I mean, I don't think that's like a controversial thing to say, is that people generally, I think people want to play games. They have the idea of playing games, but in reality, it's a lot less. Printhammer, hello. Says gaming groups are much smaller now post-COVID. We used to have a huge scene in San Antonio, and now it's pretty fractured. I think it's probably on a case-by-case basis, mate. I mean, I think our local scene seems to have got back to where it was again. The gaming group is full. The tables are always full again. I just think the games that people are playing's changed. Ed says the whole just play aspect was one of X-Wing's big advantages. Absolutely, mate. Yeah, I think it is. I think it's one of the things that GW was pushing with Underworlds. There are other games out there, things like God Tier that I've been playing, where you literally buy a box and you're straight in and playing. It's got that board game feel to it. I think there are games that are trying to do that. But I think if you start to get into what we would consider traditional war games, be that historical war games, be that sci-fi, be that fantasy, as soon as you're starting to buy and collect miniatures to build an army and paint an army, it's very much a different thing. Bob Bond saying, very much surprised me. There's always been an element of people only painting, but I've been playing as the main effort of my hobby for 20 years, and a good tournament scene is a consideration. I get that, mate, but I think what you'll find is because you're a gamer, you probably surround yourself with other people who are gamers, and like even if you're a relatively sort of small group of people, 10, 20 people or something like that, for every one of you in that group, there are hundreds out there who just buy models and take them home and paint them and don't interact with those gaming groups. Like, if gaming was so big, gaming groups would have hundreds and hundreds of people at them, because there's no way GW would have the profits that they have based upon the number of people that turn up to play in stores, as an example. And Fomorian says, I'm unsure about the 3D printed models for Warmachine. The quality of the models have been superb, and in my opinion, the prices should be way cheaper. As PIP saves a lot of money on shipping from China. I mean, it does save some money, but then there's still investment in equipment. There's probably higher staff costs. There's a number of different things that we don't have all of the costs on. So I wouldn't necessarily think about the first thought isn't necessarily, well, everything will be cheaper. It might just be it's much easier to control stocks because of the way the world is at the moment. However, printing things in smaller numbers and because things take longer to print, maybe that's a higher cost, for example. It's one of those things I think people always forget when we talk about 3D printing. They go, oh, well, it's only like 50 pence worth of resin or something, and it costs me nothing. Like, I've already got a printer, it costs me nothing to make these models. They kind of forget the fact that somewhere somebody has to design those models. So there's an artist to pay there. If you're paying somebody to print them for you, not just a mate kind of doing them for mates rates, like there's an energy cost associated with printing a model. There's a cost of labour of somebody that's having to go in there and press play and set it up and clean it off and clean it and cure it and kind of check the quality and all that kind of stuff. And if they're constantly doing lots and lots of different machines, there's costs involved in that. And I think once you start to factor in those bits and pieces, I don't think the cost of the models drastically comes down. Like, if you think how much it costs for a plastic model, the actual cost of the material in plastic is pennies. But there's a huge investment in the molds, and there's a huge investment in the machine that you have to injection mold it with, and there's training of staff, and then there's a number of staff that's needed, and there's a lots of hidden cost in there. So I don't think it's as easy as just, 3D printing's cheap kind of thing. Yeah, Adam's saying there, yeah, gaming and painting, collecting the different animals, 100% mate. Yes. Right, I think what we'll do is, whilst that is a lively chat, I'd be quite happy to carry on with it once we go back in. We do have some more of the painting challenge stuff to show as well. So we'll dive in with, we've got Adam's model here. Let me just, got a million messages here, hang on. Let me just go back in. Sorry, my phone was absolutely, I've got messages coming out my ears. I don't know why. I'm trying to find Adam's email there so we can find it. There we go. It says, here's my entry for this month's challenge. The other side screams Lovecraftian nightmare monsters to me. So I painted up Azathoth and Insidious from Deep Madness. There you go. I don't know these models, but they look awesome, and I like the background as well. The Warcry background, I believe, as well. But yeah, I love that the detail on the eyes on these, mate. Really, really nice. Nice bit. I love the kind of the greens and the blues and the pinks all mixing together as well. Look really, really cool, mate. Nice stuff. Yeah, these look suitably evil. Certainly wouldn't want these finding these in the garden on my way back in the house tonight, that's for sure. Nice work, Adam. Thank you very much. Love those. Next up, we have a certain Blair Smith, who I know is in the chat tonight. So Blair, if I can find the email, here it is. So see my other side submission, they are by Artisan and to be used in Dead Man's Hand, mostly being on white hats, which are the goodies side. So done some Mexican bandits for black hats, the baddies. Not good at bases, so simple sand. Hope you enjoy. Nothing wrong with simple sand, mate. He said they were mostly fun to paint. That's what it's all about, mate. Mostly fun to paint. I like them. So these are the Mexican black hats. I don't know Dead Man's Hand as a game. I've not played it. I'm aware of it, but I must admit I've not played the game. But these look pretty cool, man. I like these. Nice choice of colours. Love the blues. The blues really stand out there against those tops as well. Love the green vest there as well. Nice work with the gold buttons and stuff. They look Mexican to me, mate. I'm loving these. They're quite nice models, these as well. So I'm assuming that with the box in the background, these must be the models from Dead Man's Hand as well. Oh, he did say where they were from. By Artisan, that was it. I like them. Nice models, buddy. Nice models. And nicely done as well. I like the kind of the bit of highlighting as well on the chops there. And on the neck chief there as well. Very nice. Looks good enough to drink. Thank you very much, Blair. They look awesome. Simo Dave is up next. Let's find his email, which is here somewhere. Again, as I said before, folks, if you're wanting to grab my attention, please just type at BlackJack Legacy while I'm looking through these as well, because I can't see the chat at the moment. It says, this is my entry for the community painting challenge. I realised I had a lot of boxes on the shelves, and this painting challenge was the perfect motivation to get them painted. Altogether, here's some minis from Fallout, Star Wars Legion, and some halflings from Kings of War. And thank you very much for your very, very kind words as well. Again, I'm not going to read them out and pat myself on the back. But yeah, thank you for your kind words, mate. So, don't know what these models are, but we're going to go through them. Love that the red armor, mate, with the green. Looks really cool. Let's zoom in on some of these a little bit. I'm not familiar at all with these models, mate, but I do like them. I'm assuming these Fallout models, are they? I think they might be. Nice one. Loving that one as well. Nice. I love the kind of the chipped armor to that. Looks cool. Yeah, these must be the Fallout ones. I do remember the dog now and the blue suits from the vaults. I remember them now, so I'm assuming these must be the Fallout stuff. Nicely done. Love the little tufts on the base as well. Definitely feels very Fallout. Nice going work on the baseball bat there as well. Lovely choice of hair colour, really stands out. Bases look nice. Loving those. Bit of Star Wars, I do know that one. I love the basin, man. I must admit that this basin is really, really nice. I love the kind of like the rocks and the almost a bit of kind of like a drift in the sand and that in there. Really looks really good. Nice, neat work on these as well. Never the easiest things to paint. Like that. I forgot, I can use a scroll wheel, can't I? Yeah, super like these, mate. Nice white there as well. Not the easiest thing to paint. I like the dust on the boots. He's looking cool. Yeah, I tell you what, the dust on the boots at the bottom here really does set it off. It's something I always generally forget to do, and it's amazing how it really grounds it in a reality. Bit of Kings of War here. We got some halflings. Nice mix of bit of a ragtag band there as well. Looking good. Is that them up? That's all of them, mate. Thank you very much, and congrats again on completing another challenge. Mr. James Zom is up next. Let's find his email here. It says, this is Argyle Tal, the Crimson Lord for my 30k word bearers. Figured tainted by the warp will be perfect for the other side. It absolutely is, mate. Let me just put that there. Looking good, man. Love the depth and the shade and the highlighting on the red there looks really nice. The blood and guts on the base looks awesome. Really nicely done. And yeah, and the pink on the wings, mate. Beautiful work. Love it. Another one completed for the challenge. Well done, mate. Mr. Jez Hunt. He's done me the world of good by writing everything on the pictures what he's done. So this is a Droon Lord and Droon Priest and Weird Stone. Looks pretty cool, mate. Like that. Love the basin as well. These are Skull Sword Warriors and Servants of the Droons. Just looking really nice. Nice kind of shading and stuff on the muscle and the skin tone, mate. Nice clean work on the shields. This is Slain McRoth, Reaver Adventurer and later King of the Cessair. I'm sure I pronounced that right. Nice work on the tartan though, mate, as well, in the face paint. Looks really good. I'm assuming I'm guessing these are all Slain models, are they? Slain in his Warp Spasm Battle Fury. It looks pretty much in a Warp Spasm as well, mate. These models have got a real kind of old school feel to them, haven't they? But they're nicely painted, mate. Love the kind of the pinky tinges in the flesh there as well. Really nicely done, man. Uko the Dwarf, Royal Parasite and Companion in Slane's Adventures. Nice one, mate. Let's have a look from the front there. Looks like butter wouldn't melt there from the front. Spilling a bit beer. Looks like the butt cheeks are hanging out at the back there as well. Nice, mate. Nest Dragon Farmer, Druid Trained Companion of Slame. Very nice, well, mate. Nice work on the flames there. Skin tones looking lovely. Nice work on the basin, mate, as well. And kiss my axe. Love that, mate. Very nice indeed. Nice work, Jez. Thanks for that, mate. Congrats on the challenge. This is Mr. Kev Prestons, and Kev is the chap who always he kind of converts like toys and stuff as well. So he said, this subject had me struggling this month. Went on holiday, so didn't have time for a load of ideas that came in my head. So I decided to paint Thanos. Definitely a leader on the other side. This is a toy I got from a comic book and a newsagent, and gave him a scratch-built sword, using him for a future Battle of Wakanda game. So the sword is scratch-built, and the Thanos is a painted kid's toy, which he's done a cracking job of, mate. Looks really nice. Nice work. Nice choice of gold there as well. Looks almost a little bit kind of weathered and battered. Picking out the gems as well on the gauntlet. Nice work, man. I like the scratch-built sword as well. It just shows you don't always have to. You don't always have to go and buy your miniatures from GW, do you? There's even just buying kids' toys and kind of modifying them can get you some great results. Nice work, buddy. Next up, Mr. Matthew Goodacre, I should say. I was reading the last email there. Let's see where Matthew is. If I can find his email, I'm sure it's here somewhere because I got the picture from it. There we go. It said his other side challenge is being painting the other side of his Horus Heresy Age of Darkness box as the Blood Angels. He's completed 2 10-man squads, and he's Praetor, or I think it's called a Praetor. Well, it'd be good if I bought the picture up, wouldn't it? He's completed, yeah. Thanks and kind regards. There you go, Matt. These are looking super nice, mate. Really, really nice work, mate. Love the kind of, like, again, that little bit of like dust on the feet and stuff just grounds them in a bit of reality. Love this, like a bit of black lining as well there around this silver. Really makes them pop and stand out. That face is fantastic as well. Really nice. Love the green there, lenses. Nice work here on the banner as well. They look awesome, mate. Really nice. Next up, we've got some the other 10-man squad as well. Looks really nice. Really, really looking good. This is the Praetor, I assume, is it? Or is it the captain? I'm not up on my 40k. But nice work, mate. Love the cloth here as well. Love the kind of dust around the bottom of the cloth. Really looks good. A little bit of a lens on the rifle there as well. And the gem there as well looks really, really nice. Getting them right really does set something off. Lovely work on the face as well, buddy. And here they are. Looks awesome in that battle setup, mate. Really nice work. Nice shot. Love it, buddy. Love it. Well done, mate. Next up, we've got Neo, Newbie Dice. And Neo has been working on... It looks like he's got some skinks there. Some little lizard men. Let's have a look. There we go. This is his painting challenge from the other side. I did a mage priest and a ceremonial guard for my Kings of War salamander army, Mantic's equivalent of lizard men and Seraphon. They are inspired by James Cameron's Avatar movie, so the fauna is very Pandora themed, and the folks are blue, although that's the classic GW colours, and have braids. So there's a bit of Avatar theme in here to his salamanders. I do like the kind of the really colourful fauna. Oops, let me just skip ahead there. Nice work, buddy. Looking good. Love the work on the scales here. Looks nice. Nice and sharp as well on the shields. Beautiful work, mate. Love all this kind of the grass, sort of green tufts as well around here, mixing them with these kind of plants. They definitely feel very kind of Avatar-esque, I'll be honest. They do look good. Oh, let's get one from the front there. Nice. Beautiful work. Looking good. Nice on the basin there as well. Love it, mate. Love it. Nice work, buddy. Scott Webster's up next. And Scott... My phone's just locked. Let me find his email. Let's see if I can find it. Whereabouts is it? Because they're not in order. There they are. Here we go. From the other side this year is the Grotesque unit from the Abyssal Dwarfs for Kings of War. Started painting for the March Challenge. Next up the other side is the Venetian Rift is the Radeur from the Rashar from Carnival, and then the powered engines from the other side. And lastly, the other side of the galaxy, powered engines from the other side of the Merlin Heavy Walker from the British from Conflict 47. And lastly is the other side of the galaxy event 32mm Scourge Warrior from TT Combat. So I think That is the Scourge Warrior from TT Combat. Love that purple, mate. I love the different shades of purple. Really pulls it together, and nice with that unit in the background as well. The what they call the shipping crates in the background. Really sets it off, mate. Nice work. This one is the Rashur. I know that one. This one's the from Carnival. Lovely work on the eye as well, mate. Really looks good. Nice on the base. Lovely colours. This one is the Conflict 47 one. This one is what's it called again? The Merlin Heavy Walker from the British for Conflict 47. Love the little spots of red. That kind of stuff really does kind of set a model off. Little things like that, just popping a little spot of red on now and again, makes a big difference. And these ones must be the Grotesque for the Abyssal Dwarfs for Kings of War as well. I love those green on there, mate. I don't think I've really seen them with anything green on, but it really does stand them out. They look awesome. I'm just going to shrink that one down a bit so you get to see the whole picture there. But yeah, it looks awesome, mate. Love those. Scott, look really good, mate. Thank you very much, and again, congrats on completing the challenge. And last up in this list is a certain Mr. Tony Howell, who actually sent me this miniature, so I've got it on my shelf over there, and it's awesome. So for those that don't know, this is the Batman Who Laughs, which essentially in the Batman comics, which I think are in it's either the dark metal or heavy metal, I forget which the comic books are called. There's a version where basically the Joker is Batman, and he has like little kind of Robins as his kind of minions on chains around him, and this is the model from that. So this is from Night Models from the Batman game. Beautiful work, mate. Like I say, I've seen it there. I don't even think the picture's doing justice to the shading and the highlights on these on this cape as well, mate. It's absolutely beautiful work. The face as well, again, don't think it's doing it justice, mate. It's absolutely awesome. Nice work on the side there as well. But beautiful model, beautifully painted, mate. And that the glow to this base looks beautiful, man. So yes, awesome work. So we've got about 8 left to do, but we'll pop back into the chat. We'll see what folks are rabbiting about at the minute, and we'll catch up with them. Why do we keep getting these bots in? Absolute pain in the backside. Is this what happens when you get popular? You get bots. The thing is as well, you have to be subscribed to the channel to post in the chat, and you have to be subscribed for, I think it's 5 minutes to stop that kind of stuff. But these bots obviously subscribe and then come back. Yeah, I didn't see it. Christian got it on the head. Thanks very much, mate. I guess we're gonna have to just try and find out some kind of keywords and block them out. But yeah, it's a bit of a pain in the backside. So yeah, a bit of chat there from everybody talking about the different stuff. I won't go back over it in any kind of real turn. But Charlie Mouse saying, I love the fact that drones have nothing but beards for faces. Absolutely. Yeah, everybody's saying nice words about the stuff. Good to see some cool stuff in there. Type 40 TARDIS saying Carnival is again tempting me. And Discourse says, oh my god, I hate the Batman Who Laughs so much. I love it. I absolutely love it. There is a board game. If you're familiar with, I forget who makes the game. Is it OP who makes the game? But there is a. Oh, I'm trying to think. There's a Thanos. I think it's called Thanos Rising, and there's a big Thanos model stands in the middle of the board around it. There's another version as well. I forget what the model is in the middle, but there's a Batman Who Laughs Rising version of it as well, with that kind of big model in the middle, and it's amazing. Simon Day says Night Models know how to make a cool millie. They absolutely do, mate. Yeah. Colin saying, I love the Poison Ivy Night Miniatures did. I don't think I've seen that one, mate. Luke saying, bot means the big time. It must do, mate, yeah. Type 40 TARDIS says, so what's August challenge? I'll tell you what August's challenge is after we've watched. We've got 8 more to go through. I'll tell you what we'll do. We might as well just dive in and go through those 8 as well. And let's go through them, and then I'll tell you what the challenge is. So give me a second. And next up is Mr. Andrew Fairbanks, and he has got Sylvaneth Sprite Revenants, I should say. Yeah, looking awesome, mate. I do like these models, man. I've always quite... I think if I ever got into AOS, I think I'd quite like a Sylvaneth army. I quite like the models. Let's have a little look what Mr. Fairbanks is saying here. He says, yeah, Sylvaneth Sprite Revenants fit the obvious theme of being on the other side since they weren't done before and now they are. And he said, P.S. my basing skills need improvement. Nothing wrong with your basing skills, mate. They're looking great. But yeah, I like them, mate. Nice work, fella. Good skills. Next up, we have Mr. Chris Lupton. Just for find Chris's, there he is. There's his email there. And he says, these are my submission for July's challenge. I built these Savage Orcs back when I first started playing Warcry, but since then have been always unpainted Loner Warband. I've never used them as my own warband, so they are 100% the other side. And he painted them up using contrast paint over an undercoat that I shaded and dry brush highlighted to give the paint a bit of a helping hand. Fairly quick, but I'm pleased with the overall effect. That's all you need to be, mate, is pleased with them. So yeah, nice work, Zingbo. Looking good, mate. Love the colours. The contrast look really nice on them. They do look really cool. Love that blue as well on here and the red on there. Really does help them stand out. Oops. Let me just close that one down. That's it back here. I like those models where the two of them are carrying the big spears as well. Look really good. Nice work. The contrast on the skins come out really good as well, mate. Sometimes it can look a bit overly green, but these look really cool, mate. They look really cool. Nice work on the bones as well there. Look really good. Yeah, I think whatever you did with the kind of like the dry brushing underneath to give them a bit of a helping hand absolutely worked, mate. It was worth doing. They look brilliant. These are the Headrackers Mad Mob, I think they are. Looking good. Love the basing on them as well. The feather colours look great. Some more boys. These are the kind of models that contrast paints were meant for, you know, with all of the different, like, the kind of like the texture of the skin and stuff with the muscles and the materials and things. They absolutely work amazing on these. And these are the Savage stickers. Nice one, fella. Love them. Congrats on completing another challenge. Next up, we have Dave Mackay. Oh, Dave McKay. I always forget now. Now I've said it, I'm doubting myself. I'm sure it's Dave McKay. Here's Dave. He's finally got a monthly challenge done. Cerberus, the Guardian on the other side. Hope you're having a good weekend. Thank you, mate. So this is Tranko stuff. Awesome work, mate. Love what you've done on the base. Really sets it off. The work around the mouth as well on these is suitably menacing, with the nice red eyes there as well. Looking awesome, mate. I like nice work on the fur as well, buddy. Good work. Love it. Did you see what they're from, mate, as well? This is Cerberus, the Guardian on the other side. I'm not sure what game they're for or anything like that, but they look awesome, mate. Great work. And again, congrats. Mr. Ed Handley. So, Ed has been painting. Let me get these because Ed sent these as two separate emails. Cheeky chappy. Let me see which one he's got. So he says his first thought was last month's Snow Troopers. So is that the next ones? There we go. Was Rebels. So that was a bit obvious. So I thought I'd go with something a bit less literal. So he did those ones, which look awesome, mate. Really nice work on the armor as well. And this was it. And he said he'd also thought he'd do some Rebel Scouts as well. And these are the Rebel Scouts. He said if it's not too hot for airbrushing, I might get a character or two done as well. I'm assuming it was too hot for airbrushing, mate. But these look awesome, mate. Love the snow on the bases. Love the colour choices. They just look really, really nice, mate. And yeah, as I said before, the armour and the kind of the cloth for the trousers on these look brilliant, mate. Really like them. Nice work. I love the mixture as well of the kind of the cream and the white. It really does set them off. Nice work, man. Well done. Next up, we have Mr. John Estel. And John has been absolutely ploughing through doing some Marauders for Firefight. Here we go. So he started these just before the challenge, but most have been done this month. Really enjoyed the clever orcs that aren't just in it for the money. Overall, was nice to get a new force out pretty quick. And he says, thanks for doing the challenges. You are welcome, mate. Thanks for taking part. Awesome. Love the orange hats on these as well. Really do set them off. The blue on the basin really does contrast with them as well. Love that. Yeah, nice work, man. The Ripper suits are looking good. Love the orange gravel to the basin as well. Nice work, mate. There's a good old sort of... there's a good old size force in these, mate, isn't there? Love these. Love that kind of sort of purpley bluey tinge there as well. I don't know if they're colour shift or anything like that, but they look great. Nice work, mate. Love that. I think the blue almost kind of camouflage type armour, not armour, sorry, like the jackets and stuff with the orange hats works really, really well. Good colour choice, mate. Love those. Nice work, mate, and congrats on getting them done. Next up we have a certain Mr. Luke Pryor, who's been painting up the hairy boys there. Let's see what Luke said about these. He says, who'd have thought it? I've not submitted my entry in the dying hours after the deadline. He says, here on my Wookiee. Being an Empire player in Legion, or the good guys I prefer to call them, that makes these hairy, smelly rebel scum the other side. That'll do for me, mate. Look nice, mate. Love them with the clear bases as well. They're looking good. But yeah, some nice different textures as well and colour choices for the different Wookiees. I've not seen these models before, actually, so it's nice to actually see them. They look really good, man. Love those. Yeah, the clear bases really do set them off out. I've never noticed the weapons before as well. Yeah, nice with the weapon in the background there. Lord only knows what that is. But you wouldn't want to get hit by it, that's for sure. Nice work, mate. Nice work. Well done. Another completed challenge. These are the last two. Mr. Paul Taylor. So, Paul, this is... I think this is Samantha... She called Vase or something from the other side from Malifaux, from the game The Other Side from Weird. Let's have a little look. Who was this one again? Paul, wasn't it? So there we go. Paul Taylor. Yeah, Samantha Thrace from Weird Games The Other Side. He said, don't zoom in on the face. It looks awesome, mate. Don't you have to worry about that. And he said he won't be able to join the live stream, but looking forward to seeing all the entries after the catch-up. Love the blue flowers on the base, mate. Really sets it off against the red cape. Looks awesome, man. Yeah, I like it. I've not seen the Samantha Thrace model, but I do like the Weirds, their podcast, which is the kind of the Breachside broadcast. There's a really good story about Samantha Thrace in there, actually, and I enjoyed that. Love these, mate. Nice work. Nice flowing cape there. I love them blue flowers. Nice one. And then last one up we have Valery Lazarev. And Valery has been, if I can find, I think he was he wasn't the first one. Let me find Valery. He is here somewhere. There we go. So it's been a very productive month for me. I managed to paint almost an entire starter box of Native Americans for Blood and Plunder, along with a couple of small boats. Started playing the game with Englishmen, but I want to have a second force so I can demo it to others. There's been a lot of interest in this game, since I started painting at my local game store. So he has been painting The Other Side, and these look awesome. Just zoom in a little bit and see them. Looking really good, mate. Love the colours on the sort of on the necklace stuff as well, and on the feathers, on the quivers for the arrows. Really nice. Skin tones look really good. I love the little boats as well. Even the mat looks quite nice, actually. It's nicely done. Put some beautiful colours on there as well. Good colour choice. Yeah, that nice little force there for playing Blood and Plunder. So nice one, buddy. Nice one. So let's. So once again, thank you every single one of you who took part this month. If you didn't take part, there's always next month. I also want to thank, is it Captain Aqua for joining the member? Thank you very much. Very, very kind of you. Appreciate that. And I'm sure I saw something else as well. I thought I saw something else, but maybe I didn't. Where are we up to here? Yeah, so some nice stuff there. Have we had more bots in again as well? Is that something else? Brilliant. It's whenever I say I can't see the chat anymore, the bots come in. And everyone seems to be liking each other's work. VJ says, we're kicking off a new mini swap for Patreons. Could you give it a shout out? Absolutely. So if you like to join the Patreon chat, sorry, let me start again. If you like to support me in Patreon, we have the Discord chat that is just for Patreon and YouTube members. And in there, VJ runs a mini swap where essentially there is a theme. Everybody gets somebody else's name out of the hat, and they paint a miniature and send it to the other person. It's really cool. It's been going for quite some time now, and we're about to kick off a new one. So if you're not a member of the Patreon and you would like to, for as little as $2 a month, if you'd like to come and join the gang and join in the mini swaps, absolutely come and check it out. It's patreon.com/BlackJack Legacy. Luke says this is one of the old set of Wookiees and the new set. I didn't realise there were different sets, mate, if I'm honest. Nice one. Yeah, we're getting battered tonight, folks, by the love chat there. I wonder, is that the same name as well, or is it a different name? Because I can hide user on this channel, so in theory they shouldn't be able to come back. Yeah, Christian sharing the link there for Patreon. Thank you very much, mate. Appreciate it. Yeah, it's weird the bot thing tonight. Yellow Belly Tabletop says, should have done a submission but completely bogged in my Assassin's Creed and it felt a fraud to submit them as they aren't really on theme. Well, we'll see what we can actually do, mate. So this month's theme, I'm sure there are some of you who are dying to find out what it is. So it's obviously, we've got the August challenge. It's going to run from today. It starts today, August the 1st. It runs until Sunday, August the 28th. So you have 4 weeks. And the theme is August. So because it's the August challenge, the theme is August. And what I mean by August, I'm thinking like a gust of wind. So basically, I want to see you painting models that have a cape that is flowing. It might be something with smoke blowing across it, kind of thing, you know, like it might have like sort of flowing flames or flowing ribbons or flowing material or something like that. Anything that you can kind of think is basically getting caught like in the wind, in the breeze, in a gust of wind. That is what this challenge is this month. So the challenge is August. There you go. Scanner Barkley says, I like it. I like it too. So yeah, it should be open to pretty much anything. If you're painting something like, if you want to paint an Armada fleet, so maybe you're picking up the new starter box for Armada this month and you want to paint a ship, that will totally count. Those sails are always catching a bit of wind or something like that. If you're painting a model a little bit like that Samantha Thrall model from the other side with a big flowing cape or a big coat flapping around in the wind, that absolutely nails it as well. Like I say, if you've got something that's maybe got like smoke coming off it, or if it looks like somebody's kind of like hanging onto the back of a squig or something like that, that will absolutely do it. They're kind of getting caught in the gust of being pulled along. Any of that kind of stuff absolutely does. So it doesn't matter what game you're playing, I'm sure you'll be able to find something. Clyde Dashing says Malifaux Gaki count absolutely counts. Not a problem at all. Luke's saying it's an interesting one. Simon Davis is all gust. Now I have the excuse to buy those halfling air balloons from Mantic. That one would do it as well, mate. Yeah. Lord Maiden saying he's got some cloaked elves. Nice one. Samia saying love the challenge subject. Glad you're enjoying it. Thank you very much, mate. And Jess says, a painting a pun challenge. There you go, mate. Soth says, ties in with the Bushido models I've finished basing. Maybe the challenge will actually mean I can finish a model for once. Do it, mate. Do it. And Scanner Bartley says, did I miss the Warmachine talk? You did, mate. However, I will be clipping out tonight's Warmachine chat. And I'll be putting it into a separate video that I'll upload tomorrow. So you will be able to see that bit. Or you can always just go back and watch this on the rerun and find a little bit. I find there's a lot of people just don't even want to entertain like a 2-hour live stream. And are quite happy just kind of picking up... If I clip out the main chat type thing, they'd much rather watch that back. And even if 10 people watch it, that's 10 more views that I wasn't going to get. So, yeah. That's it. Blizzards are saying some Malifaux little gas is okay. Absolutely, mate. If you make it fit, I'm happy. Remember, these challenges are always about just trying to motivate you to paint something. It might be trying to get you to paint something that you've been putting off, or it might be just encouraging you to pick up a brush. Whatever it is, it's just about trying to get you to paint some stuff. So that is the way to do it. So yeah, August is the one. Just says time to vaguely, tenuously link it to more of these slain figures. I'm sure you can see that their hair is blowing in the wind, mate. I'm sure they do that. And Tony saying, I wish I'd saved the leader of the Cult of Burning Mantle this month for the magic floating brick effect. I will allow a resubmission, mate. Don't worry about it. It looks so good, I would let it. Simon Day says, these challenges are awesome for motivation. I get loads done this month. I'm glad it helps, mate. That's what it's all about. It's always about just trying to encourage people to paint stuff. So yeah, I'm glad it seems to be doing the thing. So, how am I? Let me just double check my diary here, folks, and I'll let you know when I've got my holiday coming up, because there will obviously be a couple of live streams that we'll be missing, and I can't remember when I go away. So, right, I think we'll be on next week on the 8th of August. And then I think we miss 2 weeks. We'll miss the 15th and we'll miss the 22nd because I'm away for 2 weeks on our summer family holiday. So we'll miss 2 weeks, but we are on next week and then it's not on for 2 weeks. So don't worry, we will be back next week. There will be videos for while I'm away as well. I'll be kind of recording something in advance and putting some videos up. So there will be content for while I'm away. You won't just have like kind of 2 or 3 weeks with nothing at all. But there won't be live streams for 2 weeks. Blair saying a few options. Might have to build my, is it Bassett core box? Ian says, so you'll be back for the August bank holiday. I think so, mate. The bank holiday is the 29th, isn't it? Yes, it is. I will be back for the 29th, mate. Yes, I'll be back for the 29th. And Samir saying, well-deserved break. Enjoy the holiday. I'm looking forward to it. My plan is to actually try and have a couple of weeks without my phone, to actually like be able to just put my phone down, kind of play with the little one in the pool and stuff like that, go to the beach, spend a bit of family time, and not be on my phone all the time kind of thing, because I have a habit of constantly being attached to this thing all the time. So I'm trying to kind of make some videos, which is one of the things I've been saying about being busy in the background. I'm trying to make some content to be scheduled for while I'm away, and then I can basically just automate it so it goes up. I don't have to worry about it, and I can just enjoy my 2 weeks without worrying about no content and all that kind of stuff. Clyde saying unplugged holidays are the best. I've never had one, mate, if I'm perfectly honest. For years I've always been attached to my phone, and in my old job I've been checking emails and all that kind of stuff. But I'm intending to try and do a proper 2 weeks off, and try and kind of power down a little bit, and then come back fighting fit and ready to go again. Ian says, sounds good. Shame if someone constantly sent you a message. I wouldn't have it switched on, mate. That's the whole point. I'm literally thinking about just turning it off, locking it in the safe in the hotel room, and forgetting about it. It's there for emergencies. Nobody rings me anyway. I never get any phone calls. The only person that rings me is my wife, and she's on holiday with me. So yeah, I haven't got to worry about that. But anyway, that's a couple of weeks away now. We'll be back next Monday, so don't worry about that. I'll put the Warmachine clip up this week as well, so you get to see that. I've got a couple of scripts written for videos. I might try and get one up this week. I might try and keep it in the bank for while I'm away on holidays, and try and be able to do that way, but we'll see. But I've got a couple of scripts written for videos, got loads of stuff planned coming up. One thing that came out of the whole GW Killing My Channel thing is speaking to loads of different companies about bits and pieces. So I've got some stuff I've just had an email saying something's on its way. My Drowned Earth stuff, Ian will appreciate, arrived on Friday. So I've got some Drowned Earth stuff to be showing off on the channel as well. Loads of stuff happening. It's really starting to ramp up now. I feel like kind of companies are starting to get some stuff ready to release, and they're getting in touch and wanting to talk about stuff. So, Jesse and Andy streamed live from a beach. I had considered it at one point, but with the time difference, it would be kind of right whenever. If it had been an hour later over there. Is it an hour later? I forget now. No, it's not. It's an hour earlier, I think, over there. If it had been an hour later, I might have considered it, because the little one would have been in bed and stuff. But nah, I'm not going to do it. I need to actually have some time with my wife. And Yellow Belly Tabletop says, OMG, so pleased for you, mate. Hope the YouTube content performs well. I've got no idea if it performs well or not with. But this is the point I was kind of making in that second, like in the response video I made. This channel was always designed. The idea was, if I can get enough people to support this from like a Patreon point of view, who want to see stuff that's not the mainstream stuff, if I can get that, if I can get enough people that will continue to do that, which then allows me to cover all of that non-mainstream stuff, then that's kind of enough. It doesn't matter if they don't get huge views. As long as the people supporting me are happy with the content I'm making, and that was always really meant to be the plan. I had a few videos that did well, and then when other ones didn't do quite so well, I kind of like, it's weird how you can get addicted to kind of to things doing well, for example. So there you go. Jess says, out of your slump then, fella. I'm feeling much better, mate. Yeah, I'm starting to kind of try and eat a bit better and stuff as well. Look after myself. I'm trying to get a bit more exercise in. Like I said earlier on in the stream, I've knocked the coffee on the head, trying to kind of get out of that, like, get up in the morning feeling sluggish and throw caffeine down my neck kind of thing. I'm trying to keep the booze down as much as I can as well. So I'm only really kind of like drinking if we've got like a night out planned, or if we're obviously like on holiday or something like that. So I was watching the England ladies game yesterday with my cans of 0% Guinness, which I quite enjoyed. So yes, it's I'm just trying to kind of like look after my health a bit more, trying to kind of keep moving. I've got loads of ideas. I've got a book here. I've been writing down ideas coming out of my head of stuff for bits of content and that. So yes, I'm just that's what I'm trying to do. Yeah, Discord says the numbers line go up. Yeah, honestly. VJ says beach streams would bring in Patreons, especially the swimwear sponsorship. Yeah, I'm not going back for the swimwear one, mate. And Tony says, I'm glad the people who count heard what you were saying and you're getting some contacts. It's been quite good, mate, to be fair. I've had a lot of smaller companies who were obviously looking for some way to kind of get their message out there a little bit as well. And I've got a few other kind of irons in the fire, if you like, things in the background as well. Little bits of kind of freelance work and stuff. So yeah, it all works out well. Blair saying 0% Guinness. No, 0% Guinness is absolutely lovely. It tastes just like normal Guinness. And to be honest, I would quite happily go out and drink 0% Guinness all night. It's also half the calories as well. So yes, do not be dissing the 0% Guinness. Right, folks, I'm going to call it a night there because I'm absolutely knackered. I've been up early with the little one and been run ragged with him this morning, and we'll be doing it all again tomorrow as well. So thank you so much. Watch out for the clips video this week as well. We'll be back again next Monday for the live stream. So take care, folks, and I'll see you then.